You're listening to the Nature Connection Show on Natural Health Radio with Sarah Turner of Essentially Flowers Training. Welcome everybody. My name is Sara Estelle Turner and welcome to this week's Nature Connection Show. I'm joined this week by Indra Singh of Silent Moon, and shortly I'm going to be chatting with Indra about her work and the magic that she's weaving with the world. This particular series of the Nature Connection shows is focusing on beautiful women that I know and who I've worked with or worked alongside, who have taken their courage and their magic and shared their gifts with the world and are now reaping the benefits and have beautiful, abundant businesses. So it's in that light that I'm introducing you to Indra today. This particular series is called Healers Can Be Entrepreneurs, and I'm holding all of this energy in the light of that it's perfectly safe and absolutely needed for us as healers to step out into the world, support ourselves and help many, many people, if, of course, that is our wish. So let me introduce you to Indra. So Indra's journey with nature began many, many years ago. During her yoga training, she would escape to the woods or the sea to ground her energy and find her way again. Her connection to the moon and the moon cycles was also profound. Indra took part in the Essentially Flowers Practitioner Diploma in Flower and Vibrational Medicine and graduated in 2014. Indra took the diploma originally for self-awareness, but before she knew it, the Silent Moon Imaginarium was born. Flowers have helped Indra heal past pains and brought her to a place of being able to discover her authentic truth. So welcome, Indra. It's
Thank you
to have you here, sharing this part of yourself now.
Thank you.
Wow, what a ride, huh?
Huge.
Yeah. So we met probably back in 2013 when you began the diploma. As I shared, it was the moon that actually drew you in.
Absolutely.
And the cycles of what we do. So here you are now. What are we, 4 years later, which is actually not a long time if we think of it really, with your own business. You had no idea when you began the diploma, did you, that you'd be doing this?
No, not at all, which is great.
So share with everybody a little bit what happened to take you from that place of, okay, I want to know this and I'm drawn to do it, to now being a successful business.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, first, I have to say thank you very much to you, because if it wasn't for you and your support as a teacher and a facilitator, I wouldn't be here. And I'm sure I'd have met you in another form, but it's just great that I was guided and I was led to your course. And yeah, like you say at the beginning, yoga was my initial place of healing, where I worked with not only my own energy but for other people as well. That was the thing that I did for a number of years, and then nature called me, and I think it is something that nature does. I spent some time in Peru. I worked with plant medicine, and then I was called to through working with plant medicine. I was then called to work with the flowers in the UK and around the world, wherever I was. However, I ignored it. I ignored it for a couple of years, and then I was led to your course. And the reason I was really attracted to your course in particular was because you work with the moon energy, and the moon energy to me is vital as a woman, and I was always connected to the moon energy and the cycles, and being obviously cyclical people, we work with the cycles naturally, whether it's through nature, whether it's through the moon. Every day there's something cyclical going on in our lives, whether it's working in routine, whatever, that's part of who we are. And I started the course as my own journey, and I really thought it was just about me, for purely selfish reasons. I wanted to heal myself with nature. I wanted to get deeper into working with the essences. And I only ever knew about batch flower essences, which were absolutely amazing. And I wanted to take it further and work with other different producers, which is what I did. However, before I knew it, and I remember this very, very well in the training, all of a sudden I just remembered that labels were being produced, bottles were being produced. I was bottling my own energy, through me, as you taught us very well, that the flowers work through us and we're the vessels. And all of a sudden, these creations were being created through moonlight, and it was very much a wow time. And I remember coming to you and saying, I've got these essences, and they're moonlight essences, and they're called Silent Moon, and this is them. And I need to take them out into the world. And that's how it happened. And to be honest, Sarah, it was almost like it happened overnight. It wasn't something that I could say I did anything really. I was led by nature. And if I look look back now, I still see that it was almost like I was in a dream, that, they were created and there they are. And I guess that was, to me, that just showed it was right, because I was led, I was guided along the way. There was no obstacles in front of me. It was natural. So yeah, that's how it really happened. I hope I've answered that question.
Absolutely, it has. And I think that has certainly been my experience as well, is that when I often use the analogy of a surfboard. You see the wave sort of coming. You make a decision to go to the sea to start with, and then you watch what's happening. And then if we use the surfboard, a big wave comes. You want to do something, you take your courage and you get on the board. But once you're on the board, you're on the board. And, you can either jump off, which probably wouldn't be very comfortable, or you can hold your balance and ride the wave and wait till it delivers you to the other side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of what it feels as if you're sharing there. There's that something you got on a wave, maybe you got on a moonbeam or something. We use a moon analogy. Yes, right. So what I'd love us to have a chat about, because clearly what we have a lot in common, but the core thing that we have in common is working with the moon.
Absolutely.
Essences in moonlight. Now, traditionally, essences are made in sunlight, whatever traditionally means. And we're not the first to make essences in moonlight. It's been done for centuries and lifetimes and eons. So we're not claiming that. But most people don't make essences in the moon. So what calls to you about moonlight and essences in the moon?
Where do I start? There's so much. Well, you use the word magic a lot, and I do as well. There's a lot of magic for me in the moon, and I've always got my connection as being one of alchemy with the moon. I've just loved that about the moon, and I resonate with the moon for that reason. And when I created the essences, I wasn't quite sure until I started to get a massive amount of testimonials what was going on, and I put them out there. There wasn't any real fear, I would say, of putting them out there. What it was what was going to happen. What were people going to come back with? And as the business has gone on, I've noticed that there's been one thread that's really run through the testimonials, and it's been about really touching on the shadow energy that we all hold, because that's part of our wholeness. And I know that my particular essences, I call them elixirs, but they are essences, not to confuse anybody when they go to Silent Moon page, that they are called elixirs on there, but they are flower essences. That they touch on the shadow, and they're for the people who really want to face their shadow. They're for the people who want to bring their shadow to the surface, to look at it and to say, okay, this is being brought up to be released. So let's take, say, jealousy. If we were feeling jealous and we wanted to really face that jealousy and look at it from a place of, how can I heal this instead of constantly pushing it down? The moon energy supports that. And that's what I found with my essences, that it's brought people's shadow up. And this is nothing witchy. It's nothing about bad energy and bad, shadows or anything like that. We all hold the shadow within us, whether we like it or not. We all have it. We all have those feelings of anger. We all have those feelings of jealousy. We all have these, what we would call negative feelings, but they make us whole. So we need to bring them up to the surface, to bring them into harmony, into balance. And that's what moon energy does. And that's what my moon essences do to people. And I've seen that running through the theme of my elixirs. So I really, when I've noticed that and I've brought that together and I've asked people a little bit sort of deeper about what it is that they've done, the main thing that they say is that they bring them into balance and harmony so that they can move on in their wholeness and their authentic truth. And that's my goal, is to bring people into their authentic truth. And I've only noticed that's what I've wanted to do through working with my flower essences, because I've seen it in my clients. It's my clients who've been my teachers. They've mirrored me, I've mirrored them, and I've seen that. And that to me is then what I need to do, is to bring that energy into the world, is to say, okay, that's what we need to do. We all need to stand in our authentic presence, which a lot of people unfortunately don't do. And you can do that by working with the moonlight. So
it's profound, and it's lovely to hear your story, and said with such passion as well.
It is passionate, because I am.
I think it's needed, and what I think maybe we can just kind of hold the energy is for others who may be starting their journey, or maybe this may even be a seed to awaken somebody's journey. I don't know, but in whoever listens and needs to receive this, is that, and I firmly believe this too, is that I get asked a lot, how do I start? What do I do? Who are my clients? All this kind of thing. And it's like, well, we need to start walking.
Yes.
And allow people to come towards us, and they will show us what it is we need to do. And yes, it will be usually our stuff, because by walking our path, we heal our stuff. And our clients massively reflect it back to us. Not that we engage on that level with them, but we just hold a space of walking towards and learning. So if anybody's listening, take heart from Indra's journey there, that sometimes we just need to start walking, and over a space of time, and it does take time, we start to hear and receive back our own vibration. Has that been your experience?
Yeah. I remember when I started the diploma, and I don't know if you remember this, but I was really, and I don't mind people knowing, because I was terrified of doing a one-to-one client. I remember it well, And when I had my first one-to-one client, one thing that you said to us all, Sarah, was that we mirror each other, and there'll be a lot that your client says to you that you will really resonate with. But now I'm seeing that on a bigger scale. I'm seeing what you said then in that room, in that yurt, as on a bigger scale, as in all my clients that come to me, 95% of my clients are in the US, and it's growing in the UK now, because I think the Americans are a lot more open to actually facing a lot of what they've got going on. And so I've seen on a wider scale that people, are really into facing their shadow. And so I'm obviously a mirror to that. I mean, I do all I can to live my authentic truth. I mean, that's very important to me, but I am still learning. And I don't know, that's why I like to talk about the onion, because I think about an onion and its layers. It's like we're all working towards that center, and we're all peeling away to get to the center, whether we will in this lifetime or not. It doesn't matter. It's the journey, a journey along the way, not the destination. And I see that in my clients, and I've got testimonials, I've got proof of people who have started their own businesses, going from having a reaction to the essences. And I'm talking like we say on Essentially Flowers, we talked about healing crisis, which you go through with the flower energy because it's so strong. And I've seen people going through those healing crises and actually allowing themselves, nurturing themselves through it, and then seeing themselves creating businesses out the other side, becoming jewelers, becoming international yoga teachers. I've had one lady who now travels around Japan teaching yoga because of partly, I won't say it's fully me, but partly from doing, taking Silent Moon elixirs and sticking to the journey of what she really wants to do. And being a powerful woman and going, I can do this. And, she's called me up a few times and sort of said, can I? Of course you can. And we just need that, that support with each other. We need to support each other. We need to stop fighting each other and hold each other, especially in this work, because we all need to care for each other. We can't always just hold the space for ourselves. We need that support. I'm talking a lot now, so it's a lot.
I just heard, you're in your power, and it's what you do. And it's when you get passionate. That's the wave, though, isn't it? That is the wave, when we actually kind of get so passionate that it just comes through us.
Yeah, I do feel though that there is a lot of people out there that fight each other, and it's like, why are we not just coming together as a community and supporting each other in this space? Whether we work with, whatever we do, whether we're Reiki masters, whether we're flower essence creators, or whatever we do, it's really important that we hold the space for each other, because I think often whatever the conventional world is, they think that we're just a load of voodoo, and that's not what we are. We're here to help not only the planet, but to support people in a natural way through the energy of the earth. And why would we fight each other? We need to support each other with this energy. So I feel very strongly about that we need to face the shadow that comes up within us to actually work with each other in a wholesome way. That's what's important. Certainly that's important to me, and I think that's important to you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's what vibrational medicine does, really.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me, through our sharing today, as if the moonlight energy is going to enhance that, because the sunlight energy does that too. Energy. Okay, and I'm kind of literally drawing this through as I say. It seems to add an element of bringing through the power and the wisdom that is in our genes, the seeds that we carry within us, and awakens that, like the wise woman within.
Yes, yeah.
And in fact, when we kind of spoke about what we wanted to talk about today, one of the words that you used was the power of the wild one. So tell us a little bit about that. What's that? I mean, I think we can see it in you, but tell us a little bit.
The wild one, I think the wild one, I created 3 flower elixirs made in Mother Crone, which is my trilogy of that energy of the 3 aspects of us. But there's a 4th aspect, which you see in the Gypsy of Avalon, which I created in Glastonbury a couple of months ago, which is the essence of freedom. And really, she's the wild one that I know is the wild one's where I am right now. It's from the mother. I've gone from the mother into the wild one, waiting for my crone stage. and the wild one to me is I feel is the woman who's maybe in her mid-40s, who's children. If we want to stereotype it there, it's like we all fit these different energies throughout our lives. These archetypes work through us. But if we want to look at it in as this woman, 40-year-old woman, 40-something, who's got children, but they're maybe a little bit older, and she needs to sort of step into her truth and her authenticity. She kind of knows what it is, but it's hiding somewhere, and she wants to really, really find out what it's about. And so that is what I work with. That's the energy I work with. I've actually just created a wild woman course, one-to-one course that I've put out there for just 6 people, because facing that woman is, it's freedom. It's pure freedom to be able to touch that space and to be who you truly are. Now, people can say, I feel freedom, but do you truly feel freedom within you? We've got a lot of restrictions that are so covered over by conditioning and what grounds the world where we live and how it affects us. And it's being able to be in that true freedom and that authenticity, pleasing yourself. You know, it's good to be self. Also, honor those that live with you. I'm going to say that again because I think the internet was slightly unstable there. Honouring those that live with you as well as honouring yourself. And it's back to balance and harmony. So the wild one is that person who's finding herself. And I want to say, I'm saying herself, but I also mean himself as well.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah, it is powerful because I'm also working through it as well. And again, we're talking about the mirror. You know, I'm another thing for me, Sarah, is the physical body. You know, the many people know that I suffered with an eating disorder all the way through my teens, which is what got me into yoga. Been hidden away for so long physically that I now sort of honour myself. You know, the mother that I am, the goddess that I am, the sexy woman that I am, you know, the passionate woman that I am, all those aspects of me that I find really important that all of us as women should be able to honour in a way in this world that isn't sabotaged, that is part of who we are. You know, the entrepreneur, that woman that we are now allowed to be, you know, stand up and be through healing as well, in the healing world.
Yeah, I think it's such powerful times to be alive, very, very powerful, because of what you're sharing. Women now, and we don't want to sort of not include men, but I think it's easier to talk with the woman archetype, and this will include men too. But women have opportunities right now that our mothers did not have.
Absolutely, yeah.
We just did not have. We have the opportunity now to be the wild one and to earn money in ways that our mothers did not. Most of our generation, you know, our mothers were, you know, like many of us are kind of post-war sort of babies where the women were in a completely different space. So we're probably the first generation of women to actually be able to earn a living from being the wild woman within, the wild man within ways. So it's very powerful times, and we're very lucky.
Yeah, but you also you put when you're doing it, you put yourself out there because it also attracts a lot of fear. It's like, you know, she's being this woman and she's judged, and I mean, I know that I get judged for it, but it's the most important thing to me in the world to stand in my authentic truth, and that includes the wild woman. So why wouldn't I honor it? Why wouldn't I nurture it? And it's really important. And I've only really learned that since beginning my journey with the flower essences. You know, they're so powerful. You know, they're just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think from my experience of them myself and from working with many others through the diploma and also now through the Create Magical Business, many of us have done loads of work before we come to essences in a committed, serious way. And each modality does what it does. Flower essences don't do everything. But what they do is they knit together. They often are the glue that brings everything together. So they kind of like make it, I was going to say real. It's not real before, but they take us to a point where we walk through a door that we can't, and then the door will close behind us, and you have no choice but to keep walking. You can't go back.
No, you can't. And not everybody's ready for that, though, and that's fine. And I found that, you know, it was like when I worked in Peru. I strongly, when I worked with the shaman, knew that I had to work with the nature kingdom, and I wasn't ready because I had a gap, you know, and it came back to me again. I mean, it came back to me through you. You know, you were the person in the UK that I worked with. And it's like, okay, I understand now. This is what I have to do. And you're right, absolutely right. You walk through a door, the door shuts, and then you take the next corridor, and then the next door shuts, and you just can't go back, you know. If I could tell people the amount of stuff that's happened to me in the time that I've been taking flower essences, I don't think people will believe it, But if you are on the growth journey, which I certainly am, in the transformation journey, then, it's such a great way to do it.
It's a pretty fast track, isn't it?
Very.
Fast track, yeah. So I know something else that I think you've kind of touched on this. So, but I think it's good to maybe name it. Two other aspects of you that are very, very important for you to share through your work are creativity and intuition. So, yeah. And I say you've touched on the sort of oversoul of that, but just share with us a little bit about what that means to you and how you help people on their life journey through creativity and I guess trusting their intuition.
Yeah. Well, I have a strong belief within me that everybody has creative energy, and that's the truth. We all have it, and it can lie dormant in some people. But I find I write a lot, and so it was always very important for me to get to that space of being able to write my book. And working with the flower essences was what really supported my writing, and being able to put my words out there, because I was frightened to do it, because I was frightened that people were going to judge me, they were going to criticize what I wrote about. And I really, really feel that when working certainly with my flower essences, that's what happens to people. It's like something happens within the sacral that really opens them up to their creative truth. And whether that's being a musician, a writer, an artist, a yoga teacher, a jewelry maker, something happens that just allows them to blossom like a flower, literally. And I think being creative is one of the things that is really important to your authenticity, because we all have it within us. And meditation is a huge thing for me. That's a daily practice for me. And people will say to me, well, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know. I know that there's something more within me creatively, but I don't know how to do it. And I don't know how to step into that door and how to look at it. Meditation is the thing that will connect you to your intuition and help you see what it is that you need to do. And I know that it's very easy to go around trying all different things to see if, that's for you. But I think for me, it's been sitting with who I really am. And by meditation, I've been able to open myself intuitively and really work with that, and then help me see through nature is what working with the nature kingdom and the fairies. And we can talk about the fairies and the elementals, and they've criticized and judged me for doing that. But, that's okay. They can do that. That's where my intuition comes from. It comes from the nature kingdom. I can sit in nature. I can meditate. I can work with the fairy energy. I can work with the elves. I can work with the pixies, and they can tell me all that I need to do and what I need to create next. So everything that I've created on the flower essence side has come through their energy, through my intuition, and then they're them just channeling themselves through me. And, each bottle is come from seed to bottle, or from plant to bottle. I try where I can to actually work with the plant myself, create it, work with it myself, grow it myself, so that I know where the energies come from. Mm-hmm. It's not always possible, but most of the time you can do that. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it's the creative energy and the intuition, they come hand in hand to me. Mm-hmm. And that really is also powerful. Sensitive people, I think, will connect with that very strongly, because I know me being extremely sensitive, and also having to keep that in balance, as well as being able to sort of go, okay, I'm bringing this wonderful business out there. I need to keep my sensitivity, but I also need to take myself out there. How do I stay strong and grounded in my creative, intuitive truth, and still put myself out there on social media? Because social media is a hard place to be when you're sensitive, and you need to be able to know what it is that you truly are, before you can actually put yourself out there, because otherwise you can get really distressed by the people that that are out there trying to poke at you.
Very important advice. I don't know if that's the right word, but I think it comes through as that to just acknowledge it. It doesn't necessarily make it any easier. But I think as what you were saying before, it's about, okay, so this is how it is.
Yes.
Can we support each other? It's not personal. It doesn't happen to just one person. It happens across the board to certain kinds of people. We will all receive a slightly different experience of it, but it happens, and it's not personal. So we just need to join hands and walk forward. So thank you, Indra. It's just been lovely to listen.
Welcome.
To spend time with you and to hear how far you've come, and just the passion you have for taking your work forward. I'd like to ask you one more thing, just very briefly. If you had, I think you've already done it in many ways, but if you could give just a few words of encouragement to anybody that's listening right now, who is a healer, who wants to be a healer, who would absolutely love to bring through them their gift and make money authentically, reach many people, but, find in them that experience of being supported through money so that they can do their work more easily, what would be your advice to them?
Where do I start? I think self-belief and really being able to stand in your truth and really know what it is that you want, and stay grounded, stay balanced, stay in harmony with yourself, and don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is not the right thing. Because if you really truly believe in it and you want to get it out there, then you have all the support from the universe and from nature to help you. It's there. It really is there.
Thank you. Yeah, very, very powerful advice. So before we say goodbye, would you share with everybody how they can find out more about what you do, how they can buy your elixirs? And by the way, elixir is the French word for essence. I don't know if you know.
I didn't actually know that. I just like the sound of it.
That's what they call them here.
Right, yeah, so you can find me at www.silent-moon.co.uk. That's where I hang out, at the Imaginarium. That's my online presence. Also, 6 Magical Moon Rituals, which is free, at theimaginarium.love, which is your free download of how to work with the moon energy on a ritual side if you like ritual, and that's totally free, so you can get that at www.theimaginarium.love. And I'm also at Putney Ethical Festival next week, not this weekend but the weekend after. I'll be there selling my wares, which is an event that's going to be happening all over London. I think about 3 or 4, I don't know if I've got it right here, but a few festivals a year, and that are going to be occurring in different buildings that aren't used in London, just to promote ethical wares and natural healing and yoga. So I'm going to be there the 12th and 13th, so come and see me. And that's it. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. So if people watch or listen to this after that event and then they want to find out about your elixirs, they just go to your site, Silent Moon.
Yeah. Silent-moon.co.uk. Thank you.
You're a bit of a periscoper as well, aren't you?
Oh, Periscope and Facebook Live. We forgot about that. Yeah, Periscope at Silent Moon Imaginarium, and the same on Facebook, Silent Moon Imaginarium as well. Yeah, and I share often on there as well, so please join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Indra. Thank you for sharing of yourself.
Welcome.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
You're listening to the Nature Connections Show on Natural Health Radio with Sarah Turner of Essentially Flowers Training.